still walking?
Yep, we just got off the ship in Copenhagen, Denmark. Today is our last port stop. Tomorrow we get back off the ship, then born on Monday, and head to Berlin for the day. When you get off the ship, if you're using the Bolt app, you've got to walk a little ways down the street to where the taxis pick up. They do have the red sightseeing city tours. You can hop on, hop off if you want. And they have a shuttle too. Do you remember how much the shuttle was, Mom? The shuttle through the cruise ship was $17 per person to town. And the Bolt is going to cost about the equivalent of $21 US. There's a Costa ship parked next to us. They also have the Uber app in Denmark. I think it's a little bit more expensive. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this or not, but Uber is about double the price of the Bolt app. Bolt is going to be about $20 US, and Uber is $40. The Bolt pickup is at Terminal 1 at the cruise ship terminal. So we had to walk not too far. It was flat, it was easy, and mostly in the shade thanks to the cruise ships. City buses also pick up at each of the cruise stops. But again, we try to avoid public transportation because it never goes right when we try and use it.
This is our summer.
Okay.
Max
okay.
temperatures like today. We're gonna be around 25, 26 degrees Celsius, which is around, I think it's 80 Fahrenheit.
Yeah, he comes to visit.
Yeah. So watch at me, look at me, everything is nice.
We have about an hour and 15 minutes until our Canal Tour, so we're just walking around in the little shops. There's where the Canal Tour picks up. It's right across from their Parliament. This is the Parliament's free for anyone to walk through. Louis Vuitton, Tiffany, Europa, Hermes. We made it back to our canal stop, or pickup. It gets started in about 20 minutes. We're just watching these little boats sail by with tables.
Jeg bedte begge både om at skubbe vores folk over til dig.
How much was the Canal Tour per person? We don't even know.
It was 597 Danish dollars, which I think accounts to like $26 US dollars.
Right, it's about $92.97 total, so about $30 per person. And you can buy the tickets online, so you don't have to wait in line at the ticket booth. It'll come up on your phone. You just take a screenshot of it. It's got a QR code. They'll scan when you board the boat. Our tour's at 11. It's 10:58 now, so get here early. They start boarding about 10 minutes before the tour starts.
As a Canal Tour for Copenhagen, I'm just going to start out with a language check, just to see if I pick up any Danish-speaking people on this boat, that actually gains benefit from me speaking Danish. Har fundet den stand aboard og fundet fordel ved at snakke dansk. Do not look like it. So that means I will do this tour only in English. That means that you not have to listen to my Danish gibberish half the time. That's a good thing. Up here with me here, I have Captain Mia here, sailing us safely through the harbor today. Definitely one of my favorite captains. My name is Kim. I will be your guide on this tour. Safety, very, very important, so listen carefully. We will be sailing on a number of low bridges. Very important that you remain seated under these low bridges. I also strongly recommend that you do not touch the bridges. They can be surprisingly dirty, and there's also safety concern involved. And the last service announcement we need to make before we really get started is that it's a non-smoking service, but hey, everything is nowadays. Do I look happy today? Well, the sun is shining, and the football season started yesterday, and guess what? My team won.
Feels good in the shade.
AKA the stock exchange. It was built between 1620 to 1640, the time of King Christian IV as a Baltic marketplace. We renovated this building here because we wanted to celebrate his 400 years birthday. And during renovation, disaster struck. Back on the 6th of April last year, early in the morning, fire broke out. Ironically enough, in the center of the building where we had the Dragon Tower. And these dragons on top of the Dragon Tower, they were supposed to protect it from fire, being sea dragons out. They had done so for 329 years. We had no historical records of this building having any fires. Well, they did not work for 400, and in less than 5 hours on that dreadful morning, we lost 60% off the stock exchange fire. That was a sad day indeed. The good thing is we have started rebuilding it. It will be given back to us in some sort of historical correct form by 2029.
Wow.
Designed by the famous Danish architect Arne Jacobsen, considered to be his masterpiece. Arne Jacobsen might be a name that's familiar to you for other reasons as well. Danish design, furnished classic such as the one of the egg, was by Arne Jacobsen. As you can see there with the different color schemes on the building there, we also renovated the National Bank at the moment. So far so good, hasn't burned down yet. On our right here, Kayak Bar, a really popular place to go and drink beer and rent kayaks, especially like the green ones. If you go and rent a green kayak, you agree to pick up garbage along the canals, give your garbage bins, which insists to fill up garbage with the water. And if you find enough garbage to fill up the garbage bin, well, you get the rent for free. Good initiative. Have you ever had the feeling that you really want to impress your neighbor? Well, Nikolai Eichmann, who built this beautiful white warehouse here on the right here, he really wanted to impress his neighbor. Because he was a young, ambitious city architect working for the King Frederick V, and he was still living back there at the Christiansborg Castle where we started the tour. And when Eichmann was tasked with building this warehouse here, he put a lot of effort into building it as beautiful and as impressive as possible. No expenses spared. He knew that the king was looking at it from his castle. This was his time to shine. He was famous. He wanted to grow power. He wanted to build a new building. Young and ambitious. All good stories. Coming into view now here on the left here now, we have a unique green building there with unique history. Started its life as a custom house here in Copenhagen. Expanding the harbour here, we have one of the modern inner harbour bridges that we're adding to Copenhagen harbour this year here. And they have been built only to cater for bicycles and pedestrians, no cars. And Copenhagen trying really hard to become the world's leading bicycle city. Inner Harbour Bridge, that's a boring name, so the locals, they have come up with a name of endearment. They call it the Kissing Bridge, because when the two sides that they slowly come together in the middle of the harbour, it's like a loving couple coming together for a kiss. Locals, they have also come up with a legend about this bridge here. And the legend goes like this, that if you kiss someone, when we sail under the Kissing Bridge, it will bring good luck. Of course, I do not know whether this legend is true, but hey, it can't hurt, right? And if it's some random stranger sitting in another row, ask permission first, okay? Oh, some good luck being spread on this boat. I like it. In the meantime, here on the left here now, here we have a good view of the new Harbour Canal. What it is. Also here on the left here now, we have the Playhouse here, part of the Royal Theatre. It opened in 2008. And back in 2008, when we had all the plays in the entire world to choose from, what did we choose? We chose Shakespeare's Hamlet. Why? Well, Shakespeare being famous, and Hamlet takes place here in Denmark. It takes place up in Elsinore, but it calls the Kronborg. Up now here in front of us, very soon on our left, we have the Opera, built in 2005. It was a gift from the A.P. Møller Shipping Foundation. It was a gift from the owner, Mads McKinney Møller. He and the architect, Henning Larsen, they were not in agreement on how it should look like. Henning Larsen, he wanted a more open-ended glass front towards the harbour here. Henning Larsen, he wanted additional 2 stories added to the building where you see the glass section, to make the roof appear to be more free-floating. Mads McKinney Møller, the owner of the Mads Shipping Company, he disagreed. And according to legend, he ended the discussion with but who's paying? In all honesty, we do not know whether these words were exactly spoken like that, but we do know that they got into a fight. We do know that Henning Larsen got so upset about it, so he wanted to refuse to come to the grand opening of the opera, this masterpiece of his. Canal Tours, when they started with Stranden in front of the Parliament, we have more time to work with, and we use this extra time to extend the tour to give you more, to take you behind Holmen. And I'm looking forward to showing you this hidden gem here in Copenhagen. But to go there, we have to go through a small residential area where we have promised the people living there that will be quiet. So right after this next low bridge, I will put down the mic for a few minutes. I wasn't really using it for anything. So back in 1971, a group of hippies, they came here and they took over this place. And what can I say about the complex legal status of the free town of Christiania? Well, I can say that they have sort of never left. Since then, they have decided to leave Denmark, they claim. They've decided to leave the European Union, they claim. They've decided to have their own government, they claim. All I can say is that we have a very interesting social experiment taking place here in the middle of Copenhagen in the form of the free town of Christiania. At any point of time, we believe somewhere around 900 people living in there. From a tourism perspective, it's one of the most visited tourist attractions here in Copenhagen, and they're very much open to tourists. So you can go in there and you can have a look for yourself. And what can I say? You can buy all sorts of stuff in there. You have to start by saying something crazy. Denmark, a military superpower. Well, we were. Back in 1807, we had the fourth biggest fleet in the world, but we lost it in a war with the British. So we had to rebuild our fleet. We couldn't build a similar fleet. We didn't have the resources to do so. The time, the money, the wood. So what we did in the meantime was we built gunboats, basically rowing boats with a few cannons in front and back. And they were kept and stored here at the gunboat sheds. At least we had a coastal defense of Copenhagen. The king had to think about this problem here. The time, the money, to be honest, he didn't have an answer for it. The wood. He immediately ordered 400 oak trees to be planted at a secret location here in Denmark so he could rebuild his grand fleet. And it's only a few years ago that an email was sent from our Danish Agricultural Ministry to our Defense Ministry, probably with a smirk, saying, "We are happy to announce that the trees have now grown up and are ready for the Danish fleet." A tall building out there with a tall chimney spewing smoke. This is Copenhagen. Copenhagen here is one of the world's most modern incinerators, and it's proved to be so efficient at burning garbage. So now we have to import garbage to Copenhagen to keep it running. We do not have enough ourselves, and we need to keep it running at full speed because it's important for us. It's producing heat, energy, warm water for the Copenhagen region, and it's so efficient at burning garbage. So it would be insane not to use its full potential. We can import garbage from as far away as Italy, burn it at this facility, still prove that we have a positive climate impact from doing so. All that is very good. It's a little bit technical, but it shows that Denmark might be a small country, but we can be a pioneer in green technology. We were for sure with windmills. We can be it again. There's another story about this building here. Denmark is a very flat country. Also, for heaven's sake, our most famous mountain here in Denmark here is 147 meters high. We even call that mountain the Sky Mountain. So what can we do with a building like this? Well, we have used it to build a ski slope, so now you can go skiing here in the middle of Copenhagen all year. Registered to Copenhagen Harbor, having a little hideaway out here. We can call it a rich man's hideaway. Now, what a beautiful ship here on our right here. This is Geostay, built here in Copenhagen here in 1934. One of the two main training vessels that we have here in Denmark here, where young seamen, they can train to become fully fledged seamen on board Geostay. Denmark very much still a proud naval nation with a strong commercial fleet, so we need new talent joining the fleet every year. Not really being used all that much by active military ships anymore, but we have 3 museum ships in here dating back from the Cold War era that you can go and visit. The first one with a good story, that is the submarine that you see in there on land. The name is the Seal, and it was one of the last operational submarines that we had in the Danish Navy, and it was operational back in 2003 during the Second Gulf War. So when the Allies asked Denmark, can you send us something down here to Iraq, something down here to the desert, something that we can use in a desert war? What did Denmark send to a desert war? Yes, we sent a submarine. It was one of the flagships of the Danish Navy during the Cold War. The Cold War never turned into a hot war. This ship, however, it turned incredible hot. Back in 1982, it fired a harpoon missile by mistake, damaging 130 houses. Nobody was home, nobody got hurt. Probably also why the two main tabloids here in Denmark, they pretty much agreed on the same headline the day after. Whoops. Military warships, they were huge wooden warships with tall masts, and as a final part of their assembly, they got towed here in front of this very crane to get their masts hoisted upon them. And this crane here, the crane itself, an old wooden structure, only rope and wood has been used for the crane itself, is strong enough to lift the mast as high as 40 meters, weighing 20 tons on top of warships. Dannebrog is the oldest sailing royal yacht in the world, built here in Copenhagen Harbor back in 1931. I spot a few crew members up there, so we can wave to them. They will not wave back. This here is an active part of the defense of Copenhagen Harbor. And the cannons that you see there on top of the ramparts, they do work. I know. Because I live nearby and they're being fired twice a day. They're being fired in the morning at sunrise and in the evening at sunset. Problem, however, is that during the summertime, the sun rises here in Copenhagen at 4:30 in the morning. You do not get popular with your neighbors firing cannons at 4:30. So it has been decided that the sun rises here in Copenhagen at 8 o'clock. Hey, problem solved. Sustainable living quarters for young people studying here in Copenhagen, and very conveniently placed out here by Risaløen, because a lot of creative schools that make use of these old shipyard buildings here for activities. I would not necessarily call Urban Rig a cheap accommodation, but I will call them affordable. And for sure you can't beat the location. You're living right here in the water here in Copenhagen Harbor. Another good idea by Bjarke Ingels and his company, The Big Design. Out here at the end of Risaløen there, you see a crane out there. This is an option to do bungee jump over Copenhagen Harbor. And I'm willing to share with you a marketing trick. I might actually make you money on this tour. When they opened, you could do the jump for free if you jumped naked. So what did that teach me? Well, it taught me that Danes like free stuff, and we don't mind being naked. It was such a popular event, so they had to shut it down. There were like way too many naked people out there.
Gosh.
Wave and smile, because you will be on a lot of Facebook and Instagram pages tonight. You can pull up the windows on your right if you haven't done it already, or you can come and join us out here in the open for better photo opportunities. The Little Mermaid here, she was a gift from the Carlsberg brewer Carl Jacobsen, and he gifted us this statue here back in 1913, and she's been sitting here on her rock ever since, waiting for her prince to come. It has not always been easy to be the Little Mermaid. She's been decapitated twice, had her arm sawn off once, paint thrown at her many times, and other shenanigans, but we always managed to get her back. Stronger than ever, you can say. It is a very charming area of Copenhagen, complete with ramparts, moats, historical buildings, even a windmill and church in there. Highly recommended by me, sort of my backyard. The seaplane that we are passing now, here on the right here, this is the fastest way to go from Copenhagen to Aarhus, our second biggest city, 45 minutes from Inner Harbor to Inner Harbor. However, it is mostly being used for sightseeing tours over Copenhagen. They come down to these two pavilions where they're picked up by smaller boats. These smaller boats, they can be spotted over there by Holmen, used by the Royal Yacht, by the King and Queen when they go sailing here in the Copenhagen Harbor. 400 million for it. Now they're done tearing down the buildings that were there. They'll be building new, 26,000 square meters. And when they're done, they'll have room for 3,100 people working here at their new combined headquarters. Denmark has always been a seafaring nation, a trading nation. Back in the days, Denmark had colonies. These three warehouses here on the right here, they did trade with the colonies. First one here, it did trade with islands in the Caribbean. We call them the Danish West Indies. They are nowadays the US Virgin Islands. We sold them to the US back in 1917. The yellow one here, it did trade with Greenland. And the last one, we call it the blue, it did trade with our African trading stations. families. But when Christiansborg Castle burned down in 1794, the king needed somewhere to go. He decided for Amalienborg here, and the royal family have been living here ever since. King Frederick, he lives with his family in the first mansion out here towards the water with the 4 chimneys, and Queen Margaret, she lives in the mansion with the 5. Queen Margaret still holds the title of Queen. She decided to abdicate last year on the 14th of January. On that day, she had been our Queen and Monarch for exactly 52 years, making her the longest ruling monarch ever here in Denmark, surpassing the otherwise legendary King Christian IV. We can tell from here whether they're at home, because then they would be flying their flags with a royal regalia on top. So none of them have chosen to be at Amalienborg today. Coming into view now behind the Amalienborg, you see a church in there. This is Frederick's church. We Danes, we usually just call it a marble church. And the marble church has the biggest dome of any church here in Northern Europe. And if you draw a line from the marble church over the equestrian statue of King Frederick V and all the way over the water, you see that you end up right in the middle of the opera. Kids, that takes some effort, I guess. He started a lot of wars and he lost a lot of wars. He wasn't very good at that. And later on this tour here, I will give you my own, totally personal, totally private theory about why we were losing the wars back then. By the way, update on the bungee jump. He's apparently not that brave, hasn't jumped yet. When we sail into Christiansborg Canal, it will become a quiet zone. We are not allowed to use the microphone in there, so you will get 10 minutes of peace and quiet. Basically, it means you do not have to listen to me. What I will do is I will make use of the time. I'll walk down the boat to each one of you individually and give you all the opportunity to ask me individual questions. It could be about the tour so far. It could.
Does it cost to live on the waterfront on the canal?
Are we talking apartments or houseboats or?
Either one.
Well, the average square meter price for buying an apartment in Copenhagen is 60,000 square meter per square meter, 6,000 Danish crowns. So the most expensive one single unit apartment was sold earlier this year. It was one of the penthouses in the yellow cone-shaped buildings we passed just before we went into this canal. And that one sold for 70 million.
Wow.
Right now here we are passing, I just read that a few days ago, so I haven't done much investigation, but apparently 4 units in a building, 4 individual apartments put right next to each other were sold, and the combined price of that is 120 million Danish crowns. Wow. Definitely not.
Thank you. Peace and quiet. Well, it's over now. I'm allowed to speak again. In front of us here, we have the Black Diamond here. This is the Royal Library of Denmark, and it's built intentionally with a tilt of 7 degrees over the water, so whatever's down here in the water here gets reflected. And I really like it because it's the Black Diamond is showing off on this tour here. This is what we call the sparkling effect. This sparkle here, is derived from the sun shining into the water here. The little bit of a ripple effect on the water makes all of these stars shimmering up there. Like granite, we had to go to Zimbabwe to find it, and of course glass and steel. A modern building here in front of us. Very soon on our left we have blocks built in 2018, houses best known for housing the Danish Architecture Center. Brewery, and I will talk more about this brewery right after this next low bridge coming up now, so please remain seated. Thank you. Built in 1608 and in 1618 it became the brewery. Back then beer was healthier than water. Beer healthier than water. How does that sound to you? Sounds really good to me. Just have a look at this body here, partly Danish beer. And back then, if you were employed by the king, you were privileged. You could be part of his court, you could be one of his soldiers, one of his sailors. You were privileged. You were given 10 liters of beer from here as part of your daily salary. That makes me think, I might be working for the wrong company. Born in the wrong century, perhaps. And remember, I had my own private theory about why we were losing the wars back then? Yeah, maybe that's it. This beautiful lightship that we're passing here on the right here now here. Number 11 out of 25 of this type of lightships that we had guarding the Danish territory. No longer needed, we have other technology for that, but we have 7 of these boats in different Danish ports looking beautiful and well maintained like this one. Remaining parts of the Christiansborg Castle. Christiansborg Castle here burned down a number of times. This is actually the third version of the Christiansborg Castle we're looking at. Low bridge, please remain seated, thank you. Third version here was built. It was built primarily to house the royal stables. Back then we needed 250 horses to keep the castle running. Nowadays we get by with 13 all beautiful white horses kept in the royal stables for ceremonial purposes. On the left here now, we are cruising up alongside the Gamle Strand, translates into Old Beach. Archaeological Absalon. Bishop Absalon, he was a crusader, he was a warrior priest, he was well connected with the king. And he's been given the honor of having founded Copenhagen back in 1167. But hey, wait! Didn't the tour guide just tell us the people have been living here since the Stone Age and definitely the Vikings? Yes, I did. But nonetheless, someone has given this guy the honor of having founded Copenhagen because of what he did. And what he did was he built the very first structure here on the island of Slotsholmen at the location where we now have Christiansborg Castle. It was called Absalon's Fortress and it was built in, well, you guessed it, 1167. So what is left is now for Captain Mia and me to say thank you very much for having sailed with us for the last hour. We hope that you enjoyed this tour around Copenhagen. We really enjoyed sailing with you. Thank you.
Just finished our canal tour. Yes. Now we're headed to grab some lunch, and then we've got a Segway tour that we're doing at 1. So we've got about an hour to eat. I don't even know what I got. What's it called? Nacho El Maco burger. Let's see what's on it. Fries. What kind of burger did you get?
Black pepper chicken.
Oh, black pepper chicken. Mom got a filet fish. Not exciting. We got a Biscoff McFlurry. Just finished lunch at McDonald's. That Biscoff McFlurry was delicious. And now we're headed to the Segway tour, which is about a 5-minute walk. It says to arrive at the Segway tour about 15 minutes early so they can get you fitted for helmets.
Straight back. And when you're on the Segway, you can never be completely still. It's not like a bike where you can set the foot off and it's gonna stop. You are gonna have to. So just
Ready?
I guess.
This is Mom's first time on a Segway. Me and Dad did it last year with Noah and Uncle Brian when we were in Bermuda, but I don't think I ever posted that video. I'm really behind on posting our YouTube videos. Probably post the Baltic ones out of order and then try and catch up on all the rest because I've already started editing these in the room. Forgot to record the outside of the building. Here it is. This is where it meets. It's near the canal, about a 2-minute walk from where we did the canal tour. I'm gonna try and film this as best I can with my DJI. If I known we were doing this, I would have packed my GoPro. Hopefully we don't have any accidents.
almost 900 years old. Copenhagen. If you go all the way down to the basement of the Parliament, you can see the ruins of the castle he built back in the day. It was built by a bishop called Absalon. He has a statue of himself from the square we just went past over there. And as any other like priest or important person, he would like to portray himself as this big, fierce warrior.
This is behind our Parliament building. He said that when they're in session, most people who work here bike, so these are all full with bikes.
This garden is captured by buildings all around it, because back in the day we used to have a lot of wars with Sweden. I don't know if you know, but Denmark and Sweden are the two countries with the most war. And I'm just going to say Denmark has lost all of them, so we don't go to war with Sweden anymore. But back in the day, one of our kings, he fought. This time, I'm going to build a navy inside this garden, and I'm going to build buildings around it to make it secret. So I'm gonna give the Swedes element of surprise when doing up. That didn't work that well. We lost the war anyway. But now we have this beautiful garden in here instead.
So this is the back side of that new library. We saw this connected to the old library we were just looking at, but we saw this building from the Canal Tour earlier.
I don't know if you know, but Denmark has one of the highest tax rates in the world. We have a 38% flat tax rate.
Ooh.
Everyone has to pay. That goes all the way up to 62%. So we have to pay a lot of taxes, but that of course is a proportional tax. So the more you earn, the more you have to pay. But we get a lot of benefits from that as well. We have free healthcare in Denmark. We have free education, and students also get paid to study here in Denmark. We have something called like graduation fee. So when you go to school and you turn 18 years old, you start.
He was telling us that students get paid here. Some get like 100 euros per month, and it goes upwards to 800 euros per month. I don't know what age that is. I think we're headed to the Little Mermaid, maybe. This is really nice because you get a nice cool breeze as you're going on the Segway as opposed to walking. He said the canals are also really clean, so you could basically, it's not legal to jump in everywhere, but the police don't really care here, so as long as you're not trying to swim across the canal, you can swim pretty much anywhere.
And you guys almost no cars in this area as well. It's because it's really, really hard to drive your car this way. It's almost only bikes and people walking don't go through the streets. Everyone in Copenhagen that lives in Denmark knows it's horrible to take your car here, so you just don't do it. And also many of the streets in this area is just one-way streets, so it's very, very, very hard to get around if there's no parking. Come in the night, it's so dark inside the city, and they had to paint the houses in different colors so the ships wouldn't sail into the houses.
Oh no. He said sailors would get so drunk that they'd forget where they came from, so they had to paint the houses different colors.
On this side, one company got the contract, built 1/3 of the bridge. Then they ran out of funds, so another company took over from the other side, and they built 1/3 of the company, and then they ran out of funds. So a third company took over to build the last part. And this bridge was supposed to be like a kissing bridge that would meet at the middle like this and open up like that.
Bridge we
But
went
the thing
over
is,
earlier.
they made the bridge crooked between companies, so it couldn't open like
For
this.
bikes and pedestrians
Now
only.
it's supposed to be like a kissing bridge. Now it's more like kissing under the cheek bridge instead. So they have to make like a sharp turn in the middle of the bridge. And of course, who makes a bridge when you have to turn in the middle? It does not make sense. In the beginning, we had a lot of accidents because people, as I said, in Copenhagen are really fast on the bikes in general. So people come at full speed from the other side, and all of a sudden you had to turn in the middle and make a sharp turn. Nowadays, they made it very, very clear that you can't go that fast. It's a turn in the middle. Also, in a bit, I'm going to talk about the Opera House, which is just across this fountain. So we're going to go another way around to get a better view of it. So if you go to that museum, you can actually see the statue. But if you look behind you, you see the Danish Opera House. That was a gift from the company Maersk, if you have heard of the shipping company. They gave it to a gift to Denmark, Copenhagen. And of course they got one of the best locations in all of Copenhagen. My favorite thing about it is actually the roof, because every 4th year we held the World Cliff Diving Tournament, where they build a little platform from the roof and they jump into the canal. It's an event that happens every 4th year, and then you're gonna see there's a lot of people in the water, especially everyone who owns the boat in Copenhagen is gonna dock them along the shore, along the coast, and it's gonna get a great view of the concept of the Opera House. Also at the Opera House, you see they have some white tiles at the bottom part of it. You can actually play a song on it. So if you see people knocking hard enough on the tiles at the bottom, it's not because they're drunk or they're stupid or something else. It's actually because you can play a melody on it. And if you're a good enough musician, you can actually play a song on it. it accidentally fired missiles towards Sweden. And as I said before, we have been a lot of wars with Sweden. So this vessel, ship, fired the missile towards Sweden, and luckily it didn't hit anyone. They came through. The Swedish government rang us up and was like, "What are you guys trying to start another war?" And we're like, no. It was an oopsie. And that's when they came, oopsie, that ship over there. Nowadays it's just stuck in chain over there, so everyone can look at it, and it's open for the public.
Oh, cool.
But not a very proud moment. The country has been war 15 different times. When you give a lot of things to the Danish government, you also get some benefits that can make more.
There's our ships off in the background. One of those ships is ours, the one to the right, if you can see it.
It's where the royal family waits whenever they want to go across in the royal ship. They have to wait in those while the little boat comes across the canal to get them. Old church.
I'm just gonna say that's probably gonna be a lot of people over there.
We're headed towards the Little Mermaid.
So something that the Canal Tour didn't tell us is there's a ski slope on the power plant over there.
But the thing is, if you ski on artificial grass, the first thing, it doesn't feel like snow at all. And the second thing is, you fall on artificial grass, you know you're gonna get some nasty burns on your body. So it's more for people who like
The Little Mermaid's over there.
do tricks on it.
Tons of people.
But it's not the same feeling as being on snow. And if you're a really good rock climber, you can actually climb all the way to the top.
Oh, wow.
There's a different part, like in the right side. Yeah, and there you can actually rock climb all the way to the top. It's 80 something meters. But the thing about King Frederick's Bridge, that he used all of the money he had to build these palaces to make the statue of himself in the middle. This one is estimated that cost as much as these 4 palaces together. It's made of full of marble, and he had someone from Italy, some people from Italy come up here. It took like 5 or 10 years or something like that. It's really, really expensive. The most expensive thing about the royal palace. He was also the one who built the marble church behind you. That one is also supposed to be full of marble, which is not. You see there's a wording in the middle, words, and below that, that's real marble, and above that is just granite painted as marble. So again, he used all of the money on the statue of himself in the middle, and everything else just
Ego.
had to be placed. The one over there is his brother, Joachim. He stays in the right half of the castle, and the left half is the museum. And over there, that's like a party hall. If they have a big ball or something, you will get invited over there. It's only for really special occasions. And the last one over there, that's our former Queen Margaret II. She's not dead, but she just retired. And she's probably staying at some of her vacations over the main island. But yeah.
I just got done with the Segway tour. We popped into a 7-Eleven that's over there in the same building as where the Segway tour is, just around the corner towards the canal. Got this drink, kind of like a Powerade. I guess it's raspberry. It's really good. We need some, camera. Something with some electrolytes in it because it got quite hot on that Segway in the sun. Now we're headed into Parliament, which is free. You're able to go up to the top. Our Segway driver, or Segway tour guide said it would be a great view because in this part of town, you're not allowed to build buildings taller than 5 stories tall. So you don't have any skyscrapers obstructing the view. Scratch that, we're not going to Parliament. There's a long line to go to the top, and we didn't want to run out of time, so we're gonna pop in these souvenir stores. Oh, he's walking away. He's pointing out those statues. I don't know what they're from. We are trying to get back to a good main road where the boat can pick us up and take us back to the ship. Again, I checked Uber and Bolt, and Bolt was about half the price of what the Uber is going to cost over here. Our Segway tour guide, Emil, is that his name? Emil, said that they don't technically have real Uber here. They're all taxi drivers.
And y'all make fun of me.
We're going to take Uber to where we need to be. When we get there,
Where do we need to be?
Huh?
Where do we need to be?
Y'all don't have to tell me. Why do I need to know that? Y'all set all this stuff up. All you got to tell me is what time to get off the boat, and then point me in the direction that I need to go.
We need to be at, hang on, let me find my text.
You really think I'll remember this?
We are going to Stroma Canal Tours, Vedstreden 26, 1061, Copenhagen, Denmark. Our tour for the canal leaves at 11 o'clock.
So I know we'll be at a canal in Denmark.
You have to be there at 10:30, 30 minutes early.
You better make sure that Uber gets us there.
Well, if we get off at 9 o'clock, surely to grace, we can make it in a 20-minute drive in an hour and a half.
Is there a coffee place nearby?
Probably so. You can get you some coffee. And then we do, when we get off the canal boat, then we've got to walk 10 minutes to where we're doing the Segway tour.
I thought it was 2 minutes.
We have an hour in between the canal tour and the Segway tour.
Time for lunch.
That you can feed your belly. But we're not walking 45 minutes away. We're going to eat whatever's between point A and point B.
Did you look up what's between point A and B?
And we have to
I've
be
not been
there.
to calls of anybody having to walk 45 minutes.
I didn't say you had been. I'm just saying what we're not doing tomorrow. Everybody understand? When we get through eating, we have to be at the Segway thing 30 minutes early. That tour starts at 1, so we need to be there by 12:30.
Have you ever done that?
No, but they give you instructions.
Poor little Katie's she's gonna spend her whole tour just trying to learn how to navigate that.
She's gonna
machine.
face plant.
I'm very competent on how to do ride stuff. That
We got our
tour,
practice down in St. Thomas, didn't we?
Bermuda.
you don't even know where you did it at. I didn't even do it, and I know where you did it at. And then we've got that tour for 2 hours. We should be finished at 3 o'clock. We will have 1 more hour to explore Denmark.
I'm getting left on this boat.
I know you ain't getting left on the boat. If you don't get back to the boat, you're going to get left in Denmark.
I don't know. It might be a blessing to get left by this boat.
Yeah, that's true. Just give me a ticket back home. I explore.
Oh, will they let us off one day early?
Yeah, how are we gonna get to Berlin to catch our flight home?
Take a train.
I'll switch our flight to from Copenhagen.
with me.
Some of these elevators don't go up to the top decks, so it's like a maze. Go ahead. Navigating around sometimes if you pick the wrong elevator. I'm so hungry I forgot to record when I first sat down, but I did have some green beans here. They haven't had much flavor all week, but today they cooked them with coconut and lime and some other sauce, and they were actually really good. We got fried rice with chicken and shrimp, grilled chicken, pasta with just tomato sauce. That's been pretty good this week. Kiowa salad with vegetables, and then a salad off the vegan corner with beans.